So if you're feeling stuck in your life, not knowing what your higher calling is, what your purpose is, not knowing how to transform that chronic pain, that emotional pain that you're experiencing, then subscribe to this channel. Click on the subscribe button below and stay tuned. Every week, I will be interviewing a new guest who is going to be vulnerable with us, who's going to share with us their painful stories and how their painful experiences led them to finding their purpose. So let's get started. So on today's show, we have Dr. Nothabo Ncube, and I really want to welcome Dr. Nothabo Ncube and say thank you very much for being on the show today. She actually, I call her my soul sister as well. She's such a wonderful human being, but I also would like to introduce her. And I have her bio here. I'm just going to quickly read out because she is said is the most humble person I've ever met. And you will see why in a second. So this person right here, she is an inspirational TEDx speaker. She's a coach and a mentor. Her story led her to go on Oprah Winfrey's live class, right? Is that correct? You got to meet Oprah Winfrey, Dr. Ncube?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's wonderful. You have to share more about that later with the viewers. So not only did her journey stop there, she has been on Global News TV. She has been on the cover page of the Canadian Immigrant magazine for the top 4 women influencers. And she also has been nominated by Women of Influence and Royal Bank of Canada for the 28th Annual RBC Canadian Women Entrepreneurship Award. And this has happened in the last 2 years, right? In a row, twice being nominated, which is amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much once again for being here, Dr. Ncube. And
wow. Thank you so much, Michelle, for the humbling introduction.
Oh, you're very welcome. And, you know, it's so amazing how you're here because you have such a powerful story. And as you know, Rewiring Minds, the new series we're doing, it's all about extinguishing that pain, transforming that pain that life throws at us, and how to find our purpose and how to grow out of that pain, right? And you have such an inspirational story. Are you able to share that story with the viewers that are watching right now?
Hi, everyone. My name is Nothabo Ncube. Nothabo means mother, teacher of joy, and Guguletu means our precious gift. I was born and raised in Zimbabwe, and unfortunately, at the tender age of 14, my mother passed away in a tragic car accident, leaving my brother and I orphaned at a young age. When she passed away, I made a promise to her to become a doctor. As I was watching her lying in her coffin, I said, Mama, Mama Ngiletemba, which means, Mama, I'm hopeful. I continued and said, I will try by all means, and I'll strive to be a doctor. These were my last words to her as I was bidding her farewell. 2 years after that, as Grace would have it, my family and I migrated to Canada, and we found ourselves living in community housing, subjected to poverty. And that's when I came in alignment with a program called Pathways to Education. It was through Pathways to Education that I had a mentor and a tutor, and it was through them again that I got a full ride scholarship into McMaster University for my undergraduate studies. I then did my prerequisites for medical school, then applied to Windsor University School of Medicine. And unfortunately, the scholarship that I was on, they couldn't continue funding for my studies as medicine was a lot more expensive. So a friend of mine then suggested that I send my story to Oprah Winfrey. And as really, I was just looking for money to go to school. So when I went on the Oprah Winfrey website, the first thing that popped up was, tell us your story. You become what you believe. And I intuitively knew that I had a story. I had something special to share with her. And I quickly typed in, at the age of 14, I made a promise to my mother to become a doctor, and I'm just starting medical school. And through that, they invited me to be a part of Oprah Winfrey's live class on You Become What You Believe. This was in October 2011. And they kept calling on my phone, on my cousin's phone. Actually, I put down my cousin's phone number, and she kept hanging up on them, really thinking it was a prank call. And fortunately, after the third time, she was able to transfer over my number to them. And then I went through 2 series of interviews and afforded myself an opportunity to be a part of the incredible life class, which truly changed the trajectory of my life. I remember being in that room, being in that space, surrounded by empowering voices, women who had such amazing stories, women who had been able to turn their struggles into strength. And also just listening to the story of the phenomenal Oprah Winfrey, listening to her telling a story about how she came from rural Mississippi and how she emerged as a voice of hope and inspiration served as a reminder to my younger self at 22 years old that I too have what it takes to become whatever it is that I truly desire, and that I too have the power to turn my pain into my higher calling. And that's what I'm here to do, to use my voice and my story to serve as a reminder to each and everyone that we all have what it takes, that the power lies in you to become, that you have what it takes to stretch into your God-given dream. And my hope is that my story would remind you of the power in you to lean into your dream. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because you are enough, you are possible, you are bigger than your circumstances. So I came back and then completed my studies in medicine. Around that time, I already knew that I was going to be taking a different path to medicine, obviously. And so I was really in that space of trying to align myself with different platforms which would allow me to share my story. And one of my friends shared my story with one of the TEDx recruiters, and then they reached out to me and gave me an opportunity to share my story on the TEDx platform. And that was actually my first time speaking before an audience, you know, and that I think was a big sign from the universe. Yeah, that was a big sign from the universe reminding me that that is truly my path, that that is my calling. Then I was invited to South Africa, where I spoke before 5,000 people alongside Reverend Michael Beckwith and Lisa Nichols, both of which are from the movie The Secret, if any of you guys know it. And that was a huge opportunity, and I actually got paid to do it. You know, so it gave me so much joy to be able to serve, to use my gift and my talents to shine a light in other people's dark places. But you know, I never imagined that I would be able to get paid to do what I'm called to do. So them paying me was another sign from the universe that um, it was lucrative for me to pursue the path that I was on. And then from there, I just started getting a lot of different opportunities. As Michelle already mentioned, last year I was selected to be on Global News TV. It was a TV series called What It Takes. They were basically highlighting inspiring stories of immigrants. And I was also selected to be on the cover page of the Canadian Immigrant magazine as one of the top 4 women influencers, inspiring voices, which are on the inspiring voices that are on the rise. And was also selected by RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, where alongside Women of Influence as one of the inspiring voices of this generation. And this was actually the second time in a row. So, you know, it's been a lot of beautiful divine destiny moments that have led me to this place of recognizing and of also helping me awaken to what my true purpose is in life. And it brings me so much joy to be able to operate from a space of my calling, but I also want you to be able to step into your own voice, whatever that is. I want you to be able to step into your gift, into your talent, and do that thing that you feel called to do.
It was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's truly, you know, there were moments of pain and there were moments where you thought this was going to be your path. You know, as kids, we all decide, oh, this is what's going to define success in my life or define me, right? But in your case, what I'm starting to notice in many of our cases is that we decide we want to be this because of societal pressure or our own understanding of what success or, you know, our higher calling looks like. But the reality is when we come to that place where we're like, no, this is not what I'm called to do, right? It's like you just feel it too. It's like the universe places these signs, I want to say, in your path as well. So thank you so much.
And you know, to add on to what you just said, Michelle, I always say to people, you are born already being that which you're called to do. Your duty here on earth is to remember that thing. So what the universe does from birth is it gives you signs and whispers. It has always been protecting you and guiding you to a deeper truth about who we are. But the truth is we don't listen. We don't pay attention to all those signs and whispers. So for me now, as I look back, right from when I was young, I was always, you know, the smartest in class, but I was also talkative as well. So that was also my gift, seeking to realize itself. Now, of course, it has evolved into talking about things, a lot educational things, you know, enlightening stuff. But back in the day, it was just talking, right? But really, at the end of the day, that was just the gift. That was the gift seeking to realize itself in and through me as me. So now I know for sure that we've always been guided. We've always been guided. And I hope that each and everybody who is listening to us right now will be better able to look back at their own individual journeys and connect with the pieces of their own puzzle differently, and see the thread of purpose and see the thread of light, the thread of grace that has always been running in their life, leading them to who they truly are.
Amazing, amazing. You know, I always like to say that pain isn't here to push you down and keep you down, but it's there to build you up so you can become who you're meant to be, right? Like diamonds are made under pressure, right? Or else it's just dirt, or
so ultimately, you know, everything that we go through in life, it's happening for us. Nothing was ever happening to you. Life was forcing you and pushing you to look within yourself and unlock your gifts and talents, your God-given gifts and talents. And so when you come to awaken to what that truth is, it is your duty now to step into it and to use your personality to serve humanity. That's what we're here to do, to color the universe with our beautiful personalities, different colors, and make a rainbow, you know? And that's the world and the universe that I envision, honestly.
I love it. I love your vision. I'm along the same lines too. Like when I was little, I used to always think, and this was because of how I was brought up, where I used to always feel like I needed to compare myself with another person, right? But what I realized, many of us are caught up in this comparison where we're comparing our weakness to someone else's strength.
Right, right.
Feeling we are less. And once I went on this transformation journey, I realized, no, I have my own gifts. The other person has their own gifts. What if we all brought our strengths to the table? Like, how magnificent would the world be?
Right. And each time, and each time you compare yourself to another person, you're depriving us of experiencing the beautiful gift that you are.
Exactly.
So each time, and I always say this to people again, that there is nobody in the world who's leading a better life than yours. There is nobody who is ahead of you. There's nobody who's behind you. You are your own person, evolving into who you're supposed to be. And each and every milestone in your journey is serving a higher purpose. So it is very important that you make a conscious decision to stay present and to allow your own journey to unfold at its own unique time, because your purpose is different to the next person. So you have no business comparing yourself to another person. You know, Michelle, I remember when I had just completed pursuing, like when I just completed my prerequisites for medical school, and I was just starting medical school at the time. All of my friends were, you know, securing good jobs, getting into the corporate ladder, and I was there just starting medical school. So what that meant is that I had 4 more years of schooling. And a lot of people would look at me and say, oh, it's going to take you so much time to finish. By the time you finish, you would have already made so much money. Like I had all these different stories, right? But here I am now living a life of meaning. And I had one of my friends reach out to me and say, you know, we started working before you did, but to see you now operating in your calling, it's so beautiful because your light is so clear now. But if I had stopped to look at what other people were doing at the time, I wouldn't have been able to actualize and manifest my destiny, my calling in the way that I've been able to now.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. And it's so true, right? Because then
Yeah.
we're caught up in this negative thinking and this negative loop that we keep
Mhm.
out of, where we start to believe you're not worth it. And when we believe that, that's what we attract to, right?
For sure, definitely, you know, and it's also for people to recognize that they are worthy for the life that is meant for them.
Yeah.
You know, nobody can do you like how you can do you. Nobody in the world but yourself. Even twins have different DNAs. So
Right.
it means that there's a certain print that you're supposed to leave in the world, and only you can do it. So
Yeah.
each and every time you stop to look at the other person, to look at Michelle, to look at John, and to see how they're going about things, you're depriving us of experiencing your magnificence. And it is very important that you stay true to who you are and do you.
Possess that special, that greatness in you that's waiting to come out, right? And each of us have our own greatness that's waiting to come out. And
And nobody can manifest that greatness,
right.
you know, but yourself. Right, and it's going to be different for a lot of us. I think when we speak about greatness, people think about fame, people think about money, people think about power, but it's not about that. Greatness is about you living a life that you're meant to live. Greatness is about you living a life of meaning, a life of purpose, you giving back in whatever way and form that you're called to. For my mother, it was being a teacher, and she did that to the best of her abilities. You know, she taught kids who were coming from low income families, and they would come out on top in the country in Zimbabwe. And she had the natural ability to inspire kids so that way they could live out their best lives possible, right? And I think each and every time you step into your purpose, into your area of gifting, even people respond. There are energies that support you. There's a force, a flow, a divine flow, a flow of grace that just ignites even those people that are connected to your life to be better for themselves. And so it's not about fame, it's not about power, it's not about money. It's about you being able to use your light to serve in the form and capacity that it has been called to. For some people it's as a teacher, for some people it's as a nurse, for some people it's being a janitor, like cleaning, whatever that thing is. Just do it with everything that you have in you, with all of your heart, and do it to the best of your ability.
I feel like oftentimes people misunderstand success as fulfillment, and I feel like sometimes that's where people, or more like success equal to money, when success, true success, is actually that inner happiness, that inner fulfillment, right? Like, why are you chasing the money? Oh, because our money is supposedly in your mind going to bring you that inner fulfillment, that inner happiness, right? So sometimes even like the terminology, people are getting confused in terms of, and I feel like end of the day, it's like what you said, when you start to walk in who you're truly meant to be in this world, then it's not, success isn't that. The success is that fulfillment you feel when you serve others with that true, that
Yes,
true call.
yes, yes. And the beauty about being in alignment with who you truly are is that the universe rises to meet you right where you are and supports the unfolding of your greater story. It's magnetic, you know. It's like how we met and how now, you know, we've become sisters, soul sisters, and being able to speak on a lot of things. We're in sync. We're kindred spirits. But that's what the universe does when you're in alignment with who you are. It sends to you the right people and the right opportunities, which will help you to unfold your own calling.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
so true. I agree completely. You know, while you were saying that, something came to mind where, so I do this journaling where I write God's voice and I just listen to what God wants me to know
Mm.
about what I'm doing or the situation, right? So
Yeah.
this was when I was going through my transformation journey of being enough and my own words, right? So where when I started to write down and I was like, oh my God, this feels like God's literally talking to me. And one of the passages or one of the things I ended up writing was, it's when we feel worthy, or I wasn't feeling worthy enough, that the universe wants to talk to me, or God, or whatever terminology people use, right, wants to talk to me or has this purpose with me. I didn't feel worthy. But as soon as I started to transform myself and realize, you know what, I'm worthy, I'm a child of God, and He has given me
Mm.
gifts to serve, suddenly, you know, like some of the statements I wrote was, when you feel your worth, when you know inside that you have a purpose and God has created you for a unique purpose, you start to be able to hear that higher purpose, or
Right.
hear it from God too. I feel like, not here, but you know, you're guided, you're aligned. At least
Wow.
that's
That is so powerful. That is so powerful. I felt that, you know. I really felt that. I felt every word that you said. And it's important that we are always in alignment with God's will and purpose for our lives. And some people always say to me, but how do you know it's God? You know, how do I know it's God? And how do I hear that voice clearly? And the truth is, when it's God's voice, you know it, you feel it in your spirit. Every fiber of your being agrees to it. You feel it. Even though sometimes you may be fearful, but that voice doesn't go away. And you know too that that voice is coming from an authentic place. It's not coming from a place of ego. It's not coming from a place of wanting to be seen. It's not coming from a place of pursuing and chasing fame. It's truly coming from a place of wanting to be of service to humanity. That's how you know it's a voice of God.
oh, wonderful.
You know, when it's not attached to what you can possibly gain, like the material gains and all these different things, power, fame, all these different things. When your voice is free of that, it's coming from a pure, authentic place, from a place of just wanting to connect, to serve, to shine a light in other people's lives, you will know it. You alone know it, especially, and you have to be honest with yourself as well. So that way you are able to interpret that voice.
It's amazing. I feel like a lot of people needed to hear that. And to me,
Yeah.
to add to it, I always find that voice also has this love to it. I don't know how to explain that differently.
Yes. It's a love to it and it's a joy to it and a peace to it, a coming peace, I would say, you know? And you just know, Michelle, you just know. You know, when I started out speaking, a lot of people are like, okay, how are you going to pursue this? It's not lucrative. How are you going to pay the bills? You know, there were all these different questions, but there was not even any part of me that doubted my ability to execute and become that which God has intended for me. There was not even, I mean, you know, it's normal sometimes to be fearful or to question, but there was a stronger voice in me that believed that it was possible. And I trusted that voice. And if I hadn't trusted that voice, I wouldn't be here now doing what I'm doing. So I feel that I had to go through everything that I had to go through in order for me to get here. But more than anything, I had to listen to myself. I had to listen to the voice of God in me. I had to trust my intuition. I had to trust my energy, the energy of my spirit, the energy of my personality. And that's why I'm here. So I would love everybody who's listening right now to go within themselves and to listen to their own voice. Nobody can tell you who you are but yourself. Nobody has the answers but yourself, you know?
Amazing. Oh, this was such an amazing chat.
Mhm.
I loved it, loved it. So before I usually, before I end, what I tend to do is I ask the speaker if there's one message, one takeaway message or a technique you want to share with the interviewer or the listeners, what would that be? The one takeaway or a technique if you want to share that someone who's feeling stuck in their life right now can start to transform that
And
feeling.
say, remember you are one with God. You are one with all that is. So basically what that means is that you're possible. There is nothing that you cannot achieve because you're one with all that is. You're one with the universe, with the ocean, with the world. You're one with all. So you're possible. You're everything that your mind can conceive. Everything that you see deep within yourself is possible. And you are the answer. You are the solution. Simply because you're one with God, simply because you're one with all that is. That's what I would say. So if you can go out into the world and unleash that God-given power, that God-given potential, and allow it to take form and create everything, absolutely everything that you envision for your life. So you are the solution. You are the answer.
This was so wonderful. I don't even want to end it.
I enjoyed it too. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Nothabo. It was such a pleasure having you on our show. So much, Nothabo. And
Thank you.
yeah, so for all the viewers, if they want to connect with you, you are going to give me your website and your information, right? That I can put in the YouTube link. So that way, if you want to connect with Dr. Nothabo Ncube, you can click on the links. They'll be down below. And yeah, thank you so much for joining in and watching this episode with us.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe and click on like and share with all your family and friends who need to hear this message. And once again, guys, thank you so much for joining. And I'll see you again next time on Rewiring Minds. Bye for now.
Bye.
So I hope these series inspire you to find your purpose and inspires you to transform the pain, the feeling of being stuck in your life right now.